Hi everyone, it's Kaylee, and I just wanted to make a quick update video to kind of explain where I've been and what's been going on with me. I'm here with my potato face, as you can see, because I was and still am very sick. Well, I wouldn't say I'm still very sick, but I was very, very sick, like almost died sick, and I'm still recovering from that. So basically, the gist of the story is that I had meningitis, which, if you don't know anything about meningitis, which I didn't really know a whole lot about it can be deadly, especially if it's not caught in time. What happened with me was that for pretty much the past month or so, I had been getting sick with different things. It started out as a sore throat that was very, very painful and made it hard for me to talk and stuff, and therefore made it hard for me to do my job. And so I went to my doctor and they did a strep throat test and then told me I didn't have strep and that it was just a viral infection that I had to wait to clear up. So that's what I was doing. I was just waiting for it to pass. My sore throat got better, but then I developed an earache and it was excruciating. Like I've had ear infections before in the past, mostly from water getting in my ears from swimming and stuff like that. And this was like 1,000 times worse than that. It was like, it felt almost like someone jabbing something sharp into my ear. It's the first time I can remember actually crying from pain. This earache was so bad. So I went to, and of course it happened to happen over the weekend, so I couldn't go to my regular doctor. So I went to an urgent care clinic. They basically just looked at me and were like, yep, your ear's infected, all right, and then gave me some antibiotics and sent me home. I started taking the antibiotics. I was resting, drinking lots of fluids, doing everything that was recommended to me. And my ears started to feel a little better. I think actually my eardrum might have been damaged. I think it might have like been perforated or whatever. Because I just had like a sudden relief of pain, and I read that that's pretty common with when your eardrum bursts, basically. But I just wasn't getting any better. I still felt really tired. I still felt really sick. My husband left for work and I was sleeping, and he came home and I was still sleeping. After he worked his full 8-hour shift, and he was like, this isn't normal. His father actually had, I believe it was spinal meningitis, that he died from when my husband was a teenager. So he was kind of hyper aware of meningitis more than the average person, and he kind of knew the early symptoms. And so he woke me up and he told me he was worried about me. And at that time I was already having early neurological symptoms, which is something that can happen with meningitis because it's basically an infection that inflames all the soft tissues in your head and like around your neck. And that's why it's so scary, is because you can actually have neurological damage, and you can get brain damage. It's very scary. And so when he woke me up, I had some early neurological symptoms, like I was trying to talk to him, but I couldn't remember the words for anything, which obviously is very frustrating and scary. Like I couldn't make words to tell him what I was thinking. And he was basically like, I think we need to go get you some help. And all I could do was nod, because at that point I was scared. I was like, what's wrong with me? So he helped me get ready, helped me down the stairs, and rushed me to the emergency room. And from there, everything's kind of a blur. I don't really remember being admitted. I remember like being checked out and everything. I remember getting a spinal tap, because it didn't really hurt that much. It was just the position they were trying to put me in to get the spinal tap was really uncomfortable. Or lumbar puncture, or whatever they call it now. And they basically did the spinal tap to verify that I had meningitis, and it was like as soon as they saw my spinal fluid, they were like, yep, it's positive. And so my experience at the hospital began. Not long after I was admitted, I had a really high fever. I think it was like 104 or something like that. And I had chills, and I couldn't stop shivering. I had a really high fever. I continued to have neurological symptoms where I couldn't really think clearly. It was like my brain was in a fog, and I couldn't remember what words were. And eventually, because the infection had started in my ear and my ear was still draining, they took me into surgery and put a drain in my ear, hoping that would clear that up a little bit. I don't really remember much of anything about the surgery other than waking up. After surgery, they put a breathing tube down my throat, and they were alarmed because one of my lungs wasn't functioning correctly and I wasn't getting enough oxygen, and they were worried I was either going to die or have severe brain damage. And my poor husband, they're telling him all this, and then they're like, well, there's nothing you can do and visiting hours are over, so you can go home. And so he had to go home and like live with this troubling news that like I wasn't breathing properly, and I just feel so bad for him. And it turns out the reason my lung wasn't functioning properly and I wasn't getting enough air is because they shoved it too far down into my chest cavity. So of course it wasn't working right. And my parents came up from Alabama to visit me, and I remember waking up with the breathing tube in, and my husband and my parents were there, and it was really touching to me. I remember writing them little notes as best as I could, because I had the breathing tube in so I couldn't speak, and then my hands were tied down to the bed so I wouldn't rip the breathing tube out. So yeah, it was very strange. I just remember everyone telling me how sick I was and how lucky I was to have made it, and I didn't really realize what a dire situation I was in until my brother-in-law was telling me that he had a friend who was a nurse, and he was telling him about my situation. And after I was officially diagnosed, she asked him if I was still alive, and he was like, yeah, of course she is. And she was like, that's a good sign, if she's still alive 24 hours after the diagnosis. And I was just like, damn, was I really that close to dying? I guess I was. And it's just such a weird experience. As someone, I've been lucky enough to be relatively healthy most of my life. I've never been seriously ill with anything besides, you know, like a flu or a stomach bug or anything like that before. I've never spent overnight in the hospital. I've never had any surgeries. It's like the only surgery I've ever had is was to remove my wisdom teeth. And so it was a crazy experience as someone who wasn't used to being sick, wasn't used to, you know, staying overnight in a hospital. And it was one of the most frustrating things ever because I'm a very independent person. I like to do everything myself. And then suddenly having to be reliant on everyone else for absolutely everything and not being able to do anything by myself, not even walk or go to the bathroom. Overall, I did receive excellent care and I had the support of my family. And so, that was really good. I know I wouldn't have been able to make it through anything without my family, especially my husband. My husband basically saved my life because he recognized the early symptoms of meningitis and that something wasn't wrong with me, and he listened to his gut instinct and got me help. And I honestly believe if it wasn't for him, I would have continued to deteriorate into septic shock, and I probably would have slipped into a coma and passed away, much like his father. And I feel so bad for making him have to go through that. But, you know, almost dying makes you think about things. Obviously, I'm out of the hospital now. I was in the hospital for about 8 days, I think. And I've been out for a little over a week now. I still have these lovely bruises from, I don't know exactly what they're from, but I had like a lot of IVs and stuff hooked up to this arm. And then I still have, I won't show you like where it goes into my arm in case anybody's squeamish, but I have like a home, I have like a little IV line so I can administer my antibiotic syringes at home because I'm still having to do that. I think I'm gonna have this out in a few more days and then I'll be able to take antibiotics in pill form, and I'm looking forward to that. So I'm completely free and don't have anything attached to me or coming out of me. I'm still kind of partially deaf in this ear where my infection started. I need to go back and have a checkup with my doctors, and I want to find out if I'm going to regain hearing completely or if it's always going to be partially gone, and just generally how I'm doing. I have good days and bad days. My energy seems to be steadily increasing and getting better. I have terrible headaches now, which I understand is pretty common with meningitis, and muscle aches, and my neck's still kind of stiff, so it makes it hard to do my makeup. It makes it hard to do my hair and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just so excited and so eager to like get better and be back to 100%. And from what I understand, I might be a little too ambitious and eager for that because it takes a really long time to heal from meningitis. I've been combing meningitis survivor message boards and stuff, and a lot of people say that they still have symptoms or they still are dealing with the after effects of meningitis like a year or two after it struck them. So I'm kind of worried about that because I really want to get better fast and I really want to go back to work and I want to, you know, make videos and enjoy my hobbies again. But, you know, there's nothing I can do. It's just going to take time. And I've been kind of posting about all this on social media, and I just want to thank all my viewers and friends out there who have given me their support and well wishes and all of that. It really means a lot to me. It really means a lot to my family. And if there's anything I can impart from this experience, it's if you don't feel right, if you feel like something's wrong, go to your doctor immediately. And if they won't help you, or if they just kind of brush off your symptoms or your feelings, your instincts, then see another doctor. I know America's healthcare system is kind of fucked, and not everyone has the means or opportunity to see a specialist or even a primary care physician, unfortunately. But when it comes down to your life is more important than any amount of money. So just please take care of yourself, take care of each other. Make sure you're keeping an eye on your health and everything. And read up about meningitis, because it has really kind of benign symptoms, and and early detection is key to survival, and it can turn deadly so fast, and I don't want anyone else to suffer like my family suffered. And if anyone out there has dealt with meningitis and you have any tips on healing or getting better faster, do let me know. It took a long time for my appetite to come back, but I am eating pretty healthy now. Lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of liquids. I think today was the first time I've weighed myself since I was home, and it looks like I lost like something insane, like 20 pounds since I first got sick, and I'm not proud of that. I don't want anyone to congratulate me on that, because that's not a good thing. I was losing weight because I was dying, not because I was healthy. And I know I don't look very different or anything, and that's because I probably lost a lot of muscle mass as opposed to fat while I was, you know, dying in a hospital bed. So I want to steadily work on my physical activity and building up muscle and getting stronger, because I think that's key to me healing, because I feel like I have a lot of muscle weakness now. Which makes sense because I spent over a week, you know, strapped down to a bed. But anyway, I just want to let you guys know what's been going on. I haven't been slacking off. I've been wanting to make videos for you. I just haven't been able to because of all the stuff going on recently. And it just feels like this is such a crazy time in my life, because this happened, and before that, my mother-in-law, who I love very, very much, was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's getting chemo right now, so that's hard on everyone. And I live in North Carolina, and this weekend Hurricane Florence is coming up, and everyone's losing their minds about it, and we don't know if we're going to lose power or how bad the storm is going to be. So it's just a crazy time right now with so much going on, and when it rains it pours, I guess. But I do finally want to make a 10K subscriber Q&A video, and ask me anything, whatever you want to call it. So if you have any questions for that, I would love it if you would leave it in the comments. And I've also made posts about it on my Facebook and my Instagram if you'd rather ask on there. It's, like I said, you can literally ask me anything and I'll answer it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and stay safe and take care of each other. Bye.